Make sure you check out our first video for an overview of some relevant terms and the science behind sex and gender. Now that you have an idea about concepts of sex and gender, let's talk about how they relate to mental health. Did you know that transgenderism used to be considered a mental illness? The concept of gender has varied through different iterations of the DSM. Let's take a look at how it's changed. The disparity between anatomical sex and gender identity was initially referred to as gender identity disorder in the DSM-3 in 1980. The DSM stands for the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. It's a handbook used by healthcare professionals in the United States as an authoritative guide to diagnoses of mental disorders. The DSM-3R categorized gender identity disorder into three conditions. Two of these were subsequently combined into the official diagnostic name of gender identity disorder in the DSM-4. More recently, gender identity disorder was removed from the DSM altogether and has been changed to the name gender dysphoria. This reflects an attempt to include medical designation of people who have feelings of psychological distress due to gender disparity, thereby respecting the concept of transgender and accepting the diversity of the role of gender. Why is this even important? Some gender right advocates believe that gender dysphoria should not be included in the DSM because of the stigma caused by being labeled mentally ill. Other advocates acknowledge that being labeled mentally ill is a stigmatizing experience, but can also be a source of financial support for medical, surgical, and psychological care, as having this diagnosis makes people eligible to receive care from their insurance companies rather than having to pay for it out of pocket. A 2011 study showed that hormone therapy was associated with lower levels of depression, anxiety, and stress, as well as an increased quality of life in a sample of more than 400 transgender men, which supports keeping the diagnosis of gender dysphoria in the DSM. But despite signs of more acceptance for transgender people, many studies show that they continue to face significant challenges. Recent research has found that the rejection transgender people encounter is significantly harsher than the negative attitudes experienced by lesbian, gay, and bisexual people. A 2011 report in the Health of Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender People found that high rates of substance abuse, attempted suicide, and HIV infection, among other problems in transgender adults. 41% of transgender individuals try to kill themselves at some point in their lives, compared to 4.6% of the general public. The concept of gender and sexuality has changed throughout history and has been reflected in the DSM. It seems that access to medical treatments and battling stigma are the major players in the quality of life of transgender individuals. Let us know what you think by commenting below. Do you think that the criteria in the DSM for gender dysphoria helps the transgender community? Is there something you'd like to be taken out or put in? Remember to subscribe below to receive updates on our latest videos.